Travel does not have to be expensive. My partner and I spent the last 6 years traveling the world on a budget of just $100 a day for the two of us combined. And what that taught us is that picking the right destination changes everything. That same $100 can mean roughing it in one country or living in luxury in the right country. I'm going to give you 18 destinations that will not only leave you with a smile, but your wallet as well. Let's kick things off with Vietnam. This is one of our absolute favorite countries. There's so much to see and it's easy to travel even for first-timers. We spent a month in Vietnam and almost never got close to spending the full $100 a day. Ha Long Bay is one of those places you just have to see to believe. It's actually every bit as beautiful as the pictures. We took a cruise here, which included one night in a beautiful room, all meals and lots of excursions. Yes, even that fit our budget. Of course, when in Vietnam, you have to see the beautiful terraced rice fields, Hoi An, the city of lanterns, and make sure to visit the capital, Hanoi. Personally, we love food and found that most of the dishes here are delicious and only cost $2 or $3. We had lots of the famous pho, which was phenomenal, and that is kind of the thing with Vietnam. It's so affordable that we managed to stay on budget without even really trying. After a month, we averaged $70 per day for the two of us, including lots of tours, comfortable trains, daily treats like Vietnamese coffees. We even had some custom-tailored clothes made. It's incredible value, so definitely consider Vietnam. Next up on our list is a country that lets you pack in a ton of amazing experiences, even if you only have a week's time: Turkey. Turkey is easy to travel and very affordable. If it's your first time here, I think you have to start off in Istanbul, and in my opinion, you can't really miss the Grand Bazaar. Now, some locals may say, well, it's a little bit more of a touristy market, I wouldn't go there, but personally, I really love the vibe, and the people, the vendors there are really friendly. Exploring the Grand Bazaar is also completely free, and the same goes for the entrance to the famous Blue Mosque. If you prefer being outdoors, taking a ferry ride on the Bosporus River will give you amazing views, and get this, it only costs $1. After Istanbul, if you love history, visit the ruins of Ephesus. If you love beaches, head to Ölü Deniz. Along the way, try as much Turkish food as you can because it's delicious and very affordable. We're talking juicy doner kebabs and sweet baklava dessert, all for just a couple dollars. But our top recommendation, that would be Cappadocia. Famous for its fairy chimneys, which are these rock formations, this region feels straight out of a fairy tale. If you want, you can splurge on a hot air balloon ride, but if you're into something more budget-friendly, you can enjoy the sunrise views from a rooftop or explore the landscapes buzzing around on an ATV, which will only cost about $25. All in all, Turkey offers unforgettable experiences for every budget. Next up is Thailand, an unbeatable choice if you're looking for beautiful islands and lots of culture without blowing your budget. Of course, you have Phuket, which is Thailand's main beach paradise. It has perfect white sand beaches, crystal clear waters. We explored this island in two very different ways. One day, we rented a scooter for just $10, hopping from beach to beach at our own pace. We grabbed these delicious banana pancakes at a roadside stall for about $2. And then the day after, we visited one of Phuket's fancy beach resorts. Like we said, you don't have to forego all luxury if you choose the right destination. The trick here is that many of these fancy hotels offer free day passes if you spend a minimum of $12 to $13 per person on snacks and drinks. So we could just hang by the pool, have lots of fun, grab a cocktail. It was amazing value for money. We recommend you head over to the Krabi province and catch a boat to Railay Beach, famous for the towering limestone cliffs. But of course, Thailand is so much more than just beaches. You have to visit Bangkok. You can spend your days here exploring beautiful temples with massive Buddha statues the size of trucks. In the evening, you can go to a rooftop bar and just enjoy some drinks. From there, you can head up to Chiang Mai for beautiful scenery, vibrant night markets, and some of the best local food in the country. The food is often under $5 for a really generous plate, and getting around is easy as well. There's comfortable trains connecting the major cities, and internal flights are as cheap as $30. Now we're moving on to a hidden gem in Europe. Romania is easily one of the best value destinations in all of Europe. It has that classic European feel with the beautiful architecture, rich culture, delicious food, but it will be a lot easier on your wallet. $100 a day for 2 people is definitely very doable here. The heart of Romania is Transylvania, famous for castles, especially Bran Castle, the inspiration behind Dracula. It's really cool, but also kind of touristy, so instead we recommend Peleș Castle. Nearby, the medieval town of Brasov quickly became our favorite place. It's cozy, charming, surprisingly affordable. You can easily find comfortable double rooms for around $30 to $40 a night, but the highlight for us was probably the food. Local dishes like mici, which is grilled sausages, and hearty stews are delicious and very budget-friendly. The desserts alone are actually worth the trip. There is this one called papanasi, which is fried donuts topped with sour cream and fruits. Don't skip the capital, Bucharest. You'll likely transit through here, but it's worth staying at least a day to explore. You can visit the beautiful old town and the massive Palace of the Parliament, which is the largest government building in the world. Bucharest has a fantastic metro system, and a day pass only costs $2, so getting around is affordable and really easy. Next up, Egypt. Egypt is one of those travel destinations that you've definitely heard of, but you might not really have a good idea of why you should visit. The Nile River, the Great Pyramids of Giza, that is just the tip of the iceberg. But since we're on the topic, let's start there. Built over 4,500 years ago, the pyramids are actually the tombs of the ancient pharaohs of Egypt. The cool thing that not a lot of people know is that you can actually go inside the pyramids and descend into the tombs of the pharaohs. Further south, in Luxor, you will find some truly incredible temple complexes dating back to the days of ancient Egypt. Karnak, Abu Simbel, these places are incredible. This part of Egypt kind of feels like one giant open-air museum with tons of cool stuff to see. The best way to take it all in is by taking a river cruise on the Nile. So we found an amazing last-minute deal. It was only $200 per person for 4 days. Now, of course, we had to pay some temple fees and smaller stuff along the way, but the meals were in there, we had a beautiful room. I just think that that is such a steal for a bucket list item like a river cruise on the Nile. By the way, in Egypt, everything can be haggled over. Even tour prices, taxis, and it's not considered rude to try. Egyptians are extremely friendly and very open people, and getting to meet so many wonderful locals was actually one of our favorite parts of visiting Egypt. If you do go there, make sure to head on over to the Red Sea as well for incredible beaches, and if you're into it, really affordable scuba diving starting from about $25. Now from Egypt, we fly across the world to Peru. Peru isn't just Machu Picchu, though honestly that alone makes it worth the trip. It is genuinely one of our favorite countries in South America, and it's perfect for first-timers to the continent. You'll probably land in Lima, the vibrant capital on the coast. Just a few hours away are the Islas Ballestas, which are known as the poor man's Galapagos. For only $15, here you can take a boat tour to spot sea lions, seabirds, and super cool penguins. If you head inland from here, you've got multiple exciting options. You can explore the rugged mountains in the north of the country. You can venture into the Amazon jungle on a guided tour. We've done both. Both are amazing. But no matter how you slice it, eventually you're gonna find yourself in Cusco, the gateway to Machu Picchu. Cusco itself is fantastic. There's good markets, lots of sightseeing, and incredible food like fresh ceviche or empanadas for just $3 to $5. Now, this is important. Machu Picchu is of course a must in Peru and it is absolutely worth seeing, but visiting there can strain your budget if you're not careful. Make sure to book your transport and entrance tickets to the site a few weeks in advance before the best options sell out, because trust me, we really like winging it in general, but here it really pays to plan ahead. One experience in Peru that we'll never forget was visiting Lake Titicaca's floating islands. The people that live there, the Uros people, they actually make these islands out of reed, like by hand, and live on them on the lake. We spent half a day with a local guide and his family on their own little island, and it was just a super cool way of connecting with locals and getting to experience their lifestyle. Next up, we've got a banger. If you ask me, one of the most underrated and exciting countries, not just in the Americas, but in all the world, Colombia. And it's also one of the cheapest countries on this entire list. A great starting point for any trip in Colombia is Cartagena, where you have these beautiful colonial streets, lively culture, and stunning Caribbean beaches. Now, some people might tell you to skip Cartagena because of the crowds, but honestly, it is one of the most beautiful cities I have ever seen. And I definitely recommend you spend like a few days here, and then after that, we're gonna go to the even better spots on the coast. For example, the beaches around Santa Marta, and of course, the incredible Tayrona National Park. Entrance to the park is only $17 for the day, but the beaches and the swimming are priceless. One of my favorite memories in all of Colombia was when we visited a local wildlife sanctuary where we saw monkeys, capybaras, and even a jaguar. We had a guide with us the entire time, and it was really nice to just get some information about the animals and learn about the nature a little bit. You should know that Colombians are super warm and super welcoming people. We once even had a local family that we were staying with in our accommodation invite us to a family birthday party like 5 minutes after we met them, which I think is saying something. And then of course in Colombia, we also really enjoyed Medellin, one of Colombia's big hubs. We spent a full day just walking around the city, enjoying as much food as we possibly could. If you want the best value deal, try the Menú del Día, or menu of the day, a delicious 2 or 3 course meal that costs you around $5. You'll find that pretty much everything is super affordable here. To get around, you can just use Uber. They have it pretty much all over Colombia. It's really affordable, and it's probably easier than trying to negotiate a cab fare in Spanish. So in short, Colombia, it's got it all and on a great budget. Next up is one of Europe's best kept secrets, Albania. If you want Mediterranean beaches without Mediterranean sticker shock, that's basically what Albania is. The Albanian Riviera has these turquoise waters and dramatic cliffs that look like Greece, but for half the price. In Ksamil, you can spend the day hopping between these beautiful pristine beaches and then grab a seafood dinner for about $10 or $15. If you prefer the mountains, Albania even has its very own slice of the Alps. Now you'll probably start your trip in this country in Tirana, which is the capital of Albania. It's well connected by buses that can take you to gorgeous towns like Berat and the ancient ruins of Butrint. And the best part about Albania is that, by European standards, accommodations are shockingly affordable. We're talking as low as $20 to $30 for a comfortable double room, even in a more touristy spot. So definitely consider Albania the next time you want to visit Europe. Next up on our list is China. Now, China might not be the first destination you think about if you're thinking about a budget-friendly trip, but trust me, it is absolutely possible and it will be an unforgettable adventure. First of all, Beijing is an absolute must. Walking through the Forbidden City feels like stepping back in time, and it's really super impressive. After that, you can hike the Great Wall for just the cost of a bus ride. Like, seriously, it's only $5 to enter and walk around on one of the 7 wonders of the world, which I think is a pretty good deal. In Shanghai, because it's a super modern big city, we thought we'd be spending more, maybe even like Singapore level prices, but it was actually pretty okay. Watching the Pudong skyline light up at night is completely free, and we had some of the best dumplings of our lives at this tiny hole-in-the-wall spot for just a few dollars. If you're a foodie, you're going to love China. I personally think it has some of the best street food in all of Asia, and the variety is just incredible. Peking duck, so crispy it melts in your mouth. There's spicy Sichuan hot pot that really numbs your lips, and hand-pulled noodles so fresh that you can watch them being made right in front of you as you wait. Some of our favorite spots in the country were very much off the beaten path. For example, we really loved Zhangjiajie, which are the famous Avatar Mountains. Now, the entrance fee here isn't cheap per se, it's $28 per person, but this does allow you access to the park for 4 days, so you can cover a lot of ground. Then there is Fenghuang, an ancient riverside town that kind of feels like a movie set, and also Yangshuo, where we rented a bicycle and just cycled through this super dramatic scenery with karst mountains in the background. All in all, China is definitely possible under $100 a day, and that will even include some luxury stuff like riding the ultra-modern, ultra-fast bullet trains. Now, coming up, we have some of the absolute cheapest countries on the entire list, and I guarantee you that some of them are probably not on your radar. Next up on our list is Nicaragua. This is by far one of the most budget-friendly destinations we have ever been to, and it's an adventure-packed one at that. Let me break it down. We started in Granada, which is a beautiful colonial city with lively markets and really cheap but delicious street food. In the evenings, you can grab a $2 rum and coke here on the main square and just sit and people watch, which is a lot of fun. Nicaragua is located right next to Costa Rica, which is known for its incredible wildlife, but also really expensive prices. And in our experience, the wildlife in Nicaragua is also really good. We went to the Mombacho volcano, which is located right next to Granada. There's a lodge up there in the cloud forest where you can see howler monkeys and a resident sloth in the tree without even really trying and having to go out wildlife spotting. In any other country in the world, this would cost you a small fortune, but in Nicaragua, it was only like $40, $50-ish a night for 2 people in a really remote lodge. We especially enjoyed the volcanoes. Nicaragua is kind of like the land of volcanoes. We visited different ones, but the most unforgettable one was probably volcano boarding down Cerro Negro. We had to hike up the volcano, get up in our suits, and then literally slid down through the volcanic ash on a wooden board. Volcano boarding was, I think, $15 per person. We also visited the Masaya volcano, where you can actually see molten lava bubbling in the core of the volcano with your very own eyes. Now, moving on to India. India is one of those destinations that just feels too good to be true almost when you're on a budget. Like, the sky is the limit and you have a lot of different options. We started off in Delhi, which of course on your first day takes a little bit of getting used to. It's a little bit crazy with the traffic, but in the best way possible because it is such a bustling, lively city. And then of course there's the Taj Mahal. You've seen it in pictures, but nothing can really prepare you for the moment when you step through the gate and see this incredible building in real life. It's one of the most perfect structures I've personally ever laid eyes on. It's a world wonder for a reason. We visited some amazing cities while we were in India. For example, Varanasi, the spiritual heart of India. Watching the Aarti ceremony on the Ganges River in the evening with hundreds of candles floating down the river is one of the most mesmerizing things we've ever seen. You also have Jaipur, which is the pink city, where you have stunning palaces and of course the Monkey Temple. But I think for me personally, the standout experience in India was celebrating the Festival of Colors in the city of Vrindavan, when thousands of people go onto the streets and there are these big parties, people just throwing clouds of pink, blue and yellow powder into the air. We walked out looking like human rainbows, but it was incredible. Next up on our list of budget destinations is Indonesia. which completely blew us away, but maybe not for the reason you would expect. Indonesia is synonymous with Bali, and don't get me wrong, Bali is incredible. The nature is beautiful, there's lots of cultural things to do like seeing temples, but personally, we highly recommend going to the island of Sumatra. One super cool experience you can have on Sumatra is visiting Bukit Lawang, one of the only places where you can see wild orangutans. Trekking through the jungle for a few hours, spotting them swinging through the trees together with our guide is something that we'll never forget. We also really enjoyed Pulau Wet, which is like a little bit of tropical paradise in Sumatra. We stayed in an overwater bungalow here for less than $20 a night, and we got to woke up to the sounds of the waves rolling right beneath us. We did a ton of scuba diving while we were there, and we saw incredible coral reefs, turtles, and even sharks for less than $25 per dive, which is a deal you won't find almost anywhere else on the planet. Now, moving on to the next country on our list, Mexico. When you think of Mexico, you might picture super pricey, all-inclusive resorts and think to yourself, how the heck is that budget-friendly? But trust me, Mexico can actually be very budget-friendly if you know where to go. Start your trip off in Cancun, but skip the expensive hotels. Just book a budget-friendly Airbnb and you'll still have access to tons of incredible free beaches like Playa Delfines and Playa Tortugas. Convenience stores called Oxxo all over the country sell ice-cold beers for just $1. Now, of course, if you're in Mexico, Chichen Itza is kind of a must to visit. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world. But if you want even better value, head south to Chiapas. There you will find our favorite Mayan ruins in all of Mexico, Palenque. Palenque is hidden deep in the lush jungle. It is way less crowded than Chichen Itza and even more beautiful in my opinion. Nearby, you have San Cristobal de las Casas, a beautiful colonial town with cozy streets, bustling markets, and really cheap, tasty street food. You also can't miss Mexico City, which is actually surprisingly affordable. And if you love nature and you're in Mexico City from roughly November to March, make sure to take a day trip to the Monarch Butterfly Reserve, where 200 million monarch butterflies gather every year to spend the winter. Next up on the list is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a really easy and affordable country to travel, and honestly, we'd probably pick it over India. It's a really compact island and there's lots of different things to do. You can literally go from misty mountain villages to tropical beaches within just a few hours, making it perfect even if you only have about a week here. One unforgettable experience that we had here was a train ride from Kandy to Ella. It was easily one of the most scenic train rides we've ever done. Sri Lanka is really big on its tea, and this slow, beautiful train rolls right through these lush tea plantations, so you'll definitely want a window seat if you're going to do this train ride. In Kandy, we hired a local tuk-tuk driver for a full day at about $40. He took us to all the big sites like the famous Sikiriya Rock, but also showed us hidden temples and like these tiny little tea shops, all these kinds of places we'd never have discovered on our own. The real highlight of the day though was kind of getting to spend time with him because he taught us so much about Sri Lankan culture, and he even invited us to go with him to his home to have tea with his family, which was a really nice local kind of experience. Now, something many travelers don't know is that Sri Lanka actually has incredible wildlife. You can do a safari here for a fraction of what you would pay in Africa. We saw elephants, and even spotted a leopard in Yala National Park. And then, of course, Sri Lanka also had amazing beaches. Unawatuna and Arugam Bay were our favorites. Then next up on our list is Hungary. This is easily one of Europe's best value destinations. It feels classic European, but it will be much easier on your wallet. We especially loved Budapest, the capital. It's split right down the middle by the Danube River. You can walk along the riverbanks with views of Parliament and the historic Buda Castle, all of which is totally free to enjoy. But the best part of Budapest to us were the famous thermal baths. These natural hot springs were discovered by the Romans and later turned into grand bathhouses. Today, the tradition continues at places like Széchenyi Baths, where you can soak in steaming thermal waters in beautiful historic pools. After the baths, you're gonna go and get yourself some local food. A few bucks gets you a hearty bowl of goulash here, some crispy langos topped with sour cream and cheese, or a sweet chimney cake hot off the grill. If you have the time and you want to head out of the city, head to Lake Balaton for a day of chilling, or check out Eger for wine tasting and a really cool medieval castle. Now moving on to the next on our list is Ecuador. Ecuador, in my opinion, is super underrated. It has a little bit of everything. Volcanoes, cloud forests, and some of the best markets in South America as well. And the best part, it's really affordable. You'll likely start in Quito, which is the capital city, and it kind of feels like a blend of old and new. The historic center is stunning. It's got colonial churches, a grand plaza. There's also a local market where we tried the local specialty here, where they grill up an entire pork and they serve you a whole plate of yummy roast pork for just a few dollars. Then there's Mindo, a cloud forest paradise, where we spent the day taking cable cars through the mist and spotting hummingbirds from a cafe deck. Honestly, we love Ecuador so much. You can have so much fun here on a budget. It is one of the most surprisingly affordable countries that we've ever been. We basically had reverse sticker shock all day long. Like, we couldn't believe how good the prices were. For example, we did a 2-hour horseback riding tour in the Andes near the Cotopaxi volcano, and it only cost us $25. Now, that doesn't mean that you can do everything there is to see here on a budget. One of the most famous spots in Ecuador is the Galapagos Islands, a beautiful chain of islands way off the coast. You have to fly to get there. It's really remote, not very affordable at all. And because it's so expensive, we didn't go there. But we also don't really feel like we missed out since we did so much other cool stuff. And finally, if you want to see the heart of the country, head to the Otavalo market. It's one of the biggest indigenous markets in all of South America, and you can find everything from alpaca ponchos to handmade decorations like dream catchers here. We bought some souvenirs and had a great time. What we especially loved is that it's not a very touristy market, so you get to see where the locals shop. There's even one part of the market where they sell alpacas and llamas. They didn't fit in our luggage though. Moving on to El Salvador. El Salvador might just be Central America's best kept secret. It's got volcanoes, beaches, and the people here are super friendly, but what you won't find are the crowds and high costs that some other countries have. El Salvador used to have a big safety issue, but it's actually currently one of the safest places in the region ever since the new president took office and basically locked up all of the criminals. We started with the Ruta de las Flores, a scenic road trip through charming villages, coffee farms, and waterfalls. Every town on this route kind of has like its own personality, but the highlight was definitely the food. In the weekend, you should head to the Street Food Festival in Juayua for barbecue and grilled meat platters. We also couldn't get enough of the pupusas, El Salvador's famous dish. It's fake cheesy corn tortillas stuffed with beans, pork, or cheese, and oh my god, it is such good comfort food. If you love hiking and nature, you should head to the Santa Ana volcano. The trail is affordable, not too difficult. It only takes you a couple of hours. But once at the top, you're rewarded with a crater lake that's bright turquoise, and you can just see the lake bubbling from all the volcanic activity. Now, a budget tip in El Salvador, if you're up for an adventure in terms of transportation, you should definitely check out the local chicken buses, which are basically old American school buses that have been shipped off to Central America, where they've been converted into everlasting joyrides. The locals take these to get across the country. They often get super packed, but it's a very cheap and very fun exploring way to experience the local way of life. And then we move on to the Philippines. The Philippines is like the original dream for budget travelers. With over 7,000 islands, it's got everything from white sand beaches to dramatic cliffs, all at super affordable prices. It's kind of like the views of the Maldives, but at dollar store prices. Start in El Nido, where island hopping tours cost less than $25 for a full day, including lunch, and the limestone cliffs and turquoise lagoons are super impressive. For a laid-back vibe, Siargao is the spot. Surfing, palm tree roads, and fresh seafood, it honestly doesn't get better. Pretty much every island in the Philippines will get you crystal clear blue water, beautiful beaches, and best of all, you can lay on the beach with a big smile on your face because of how far your money stretches in this destination. So watch this video next to see how many cool things you can do on a budget of just $100 a day in beautiful Cartagena, Colombia, or watch this one next and we'll see you in the next video.